On this episode of Internet Business Mastery, we talk about boosting your site's traffic with link building. And in the quick tip, another of our favorite blog reads.
Welcome to InternetBusinessMastery.com, where you will learn to take control, make more money, and start an internet business today. Here are your hosts, Sterling and Jay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sterling.
And I am Jay. And thank you for joining us. And if this is your first time listening in, we just want to let you know you are in the right place to discover how you can create your own internet business by taking whatever you're passionate about in your life and turning it into a profitable online presence. We want to show you how you can do that to lead a more free and fulfilling life. You can find out more right now by going to freevideogift.com to get our free program that'll show you the right way to start your own internet business. So Sterling, recently you've been talking a lot about going digital in your life. How's that process going?
Well, I'm still at somewhat of the beginning stages. I've been just trying to gather, all the different ways and different tools and stuff to go digital. And what I mean by going digital is I don't want a filing cabinet anymore. I don't want a little booklet that has business cards in it. I just want no paper. I want to see what I can do to get everything digital. It's part of the last episode. I talked a little bit about the minimalism stuff I've been learning about and actually applying to my life. And I just had this feeling finally that I wanted to make it so my life was easily accessible from one small place, whether that's my desktop computer, my laptop computer, iPod, iPad, whatever. I wanted to be able to access it there and stop having all this stuff. That seems like it seems so old-fashioned to me now to have a huge filing cabinet right, when there's just no need for it. And one of the things that seems to be really useful in helping with this is Evernote. Now, Evernote's been around for a while, and I know people have been talking about it for a long time, but I finally started using it. And I'm in that place where I'm still just mystified by all the cool stuff I can do with it. So I've been scanning everything from, receipts, business cards, utility bills, most of them all now actually come digitally, and you can just get a PDF of your bill. Some of them aren't. So I've been just scanning them, putting them into Evernote, as well as even photo albums and stuff. Remember those old things? Photo albums. I mean, I haven't had a photo album in years, but I've got like 12 huge photo albums from, 10 years ago. My girls and back when I was married, and even in high school and all that stuff, we had photo albums and stuff. So I've been scanning all those in as well. So it's actually quite exciting. And again, it's quite freeing when I get rid of another stack of files from that filing cabinet. My goal is to get the filing cabinet completely out of here. So going digital, I'm just totally excited by it.
Well, I love the idea of decluttering. I love the idea of being able to access that stuff wherever and whenever you want from whatever device. And I guess the thing I love about that is the possibility of being able to search that stuff digitally. I mean, if you wanted to find a certain photo or a certain document, going through a file cabinet, you could spend a while. I guess it depends on how good your filing system is, but you'd have to find the right drawer and the right folder and then file through it. And that's assuming you actually keep your files up. Whereas, something digital like Evernote, where everything's tagged and searchable, and even images and documents that are scanned, it runs text imaging recognition on it. And so you can, just search for a given word inside of any image or any tag and just find the exact thing in a matter of moments, to be able to find the exact thing you're looking for. I love that idea as well. So it's motivating me to check out Evernote. I've installed it on my computer. I've installed it on my iPad, on my iPhone as well.
Every thing you've got.
Every thing. One of these days, I'll have it installed actually in my eye.
Yeah, your eye brain.
Yeah, my little bionic eye implant as well.
Well, and as easy as it might be to walk over to the filing cabinet and find something if you're fairly well organized, it's much harder to do so when we were driving through Scotland and you asked me, hey, do you remember if we've got the receipt for this? I mean, just completely arbitrary while we're driving, waiting for, to get somewhere. And I'm like, I don't remember 2 weeks ago what receipts we got, let alone, a year ago. Whereas I could have just opened the iPhone, gone right to it and went, yep, see it, got it right here. I mean, I I'm acting as if I'm going to be a digital nomad, which is one of the big terms, or location independent. I want to be able to operate my entire, like, let's say, financial or paper or even movies, all of it from my digital devices. And so I'm acting as if I'm going to travel the world for the next 2 years.
Nice.
even if I'm not, but I want to know that it's all there and I can get rid of all the extra paper.
Very cool. Well, we'll definitely have to talk about this again in a few months and maybe give an update on how that process is going. But I guess a quick thanks and a shout out to anybody on Twitter and Facebook that have shot us recommendations on how they've used Evernote. And we definitely appreciate that and have learned some good things along the way. So we will report back, I guess, and on how this process is going further down the road.
And now, the features segment.
So last episode, we talked about the new breakthrough for Internet Business Mastery that we have now in the United States hit #1 in Google for our primary keyword, which is Internet Business. And it was definitely a fantastic and joyous moment to realize that we had achieved that. And it has brought us increased traffic, increased reach. And as we can, logically follow through, it's going to lead to increased income as well. Now, as promised, we said that this episode we talk a little more specifically about how you can put a link building strategy into place for yourself. If you didn't hear last episode, we definitely recommend you go back and listen to that, where we talk all about how how it's impacted our business, is it worth it, how to know when, and how to go about doing that. So another thing we also mentioned last episode is that the reason why link building is important is the more links pointing to your site and the higher quality of those links, the more authoritative Google sees your site as being, and hence moves you up in those rankings, giving you more exposure as well. So before we go into kind of some of the specific strategies, there's a couple things that you need to be aware of. There's 2 or 3 kind of foundational things that you want to have in place. I mean, from the very beginning, we were already thinking about link building strategy with decisions like, what is the name of our site going to be, and what is the URL, the web address of our site going to be. And the reason for that is, the links that point back to your site, they're not all made equal. A link from New York Times is going to be a lot more valuable than a link from, some random forum in the recesses of the internet. And so, we were figuring, well, if internet business is our primary keyword, and that's one of the first link building decisions to make is, well, what is that primary keyword you want to focus on for your site? For us, it was internet business. And if that's our primary keyword, one thing that we want people to do is when they link back to us, we want them to use those words, internet business, in the link that's pointing back to our site, because if that is, then it's seen again as a higher quality link and has more of an impact for the rankings of your site. So logically, it follows that if we have a name of our show and of our site, Internet Business Mastery, and the keyword is right in the name, the most likely thing when somebody links back to us is that they're going to say, hey, I was listening to Internet Business Mastery the other day, and most likely it's going to be Internet Business Mastery that's going to be the link, as opposed to just, click here or go here or macrame or some other random word that people might use to point to our show. So that's one thing you want to think about early on. The other foundational thing to point out before specific strategies is that it's also all about just creating great value and content on your site. That's why that is the primary, #1, initial and ongoing thing that we teach on the show, and especially in the academy, is because, the reason we've been able to build $1 million business without ever paying to attract, to get a lead, ever paying for marketing to get a lead to our business, is because we've just continually created great content on a consistent basis. And so because we do that, Google sees us as, an authoritative site, and people are also on a regular basis linking back to us on their blogs and forums and so on and so forth, because they want to link to great content and share it with others. So you have to have that foundational thing in place. So if you thought about a good content strategy and you've thought about what your primary keyword is, and even, tried hard as possible to work it into your name, or at the very least your web address if possible, you've kind of got a great springboard to go from. And those are those springboard things right there is what landed us on the first page within the first year anyway, without even having to do a whole lot of other concerted things as well. However, the moment that you want to really kind of push things to the next level, go from being on the 3rd page to finally getting on the 1st page, or go from being number 10 to maybe being in the top 5 or something like that, what are the things you can do to start influencing or helping along that process of links pointing back to your site. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that you can do here. One of the easiest things you can do is to have get a link to your site within directories on the internet. And I know this is one that you've had our staff work on before. Sterling, can you maybe talk just a little bit about the directory thing?
Sure. One of the first things that I did a lot of testing with is something that I actually didn't think would really amount to much, but has actually been a huge thing that we have our VA do every single day, and that is, find different directories that talk about whatever your niche is. So if it's a pet niche, you can find different pet directories that show, all the different sites, different categories of, let's say, pet behavior or pet toys or whatever, and you get your
dog site directory.
Yeah, exactly. This kind of thing. And at the top, most of these directories will have add a site, and you click that and you can add your site there. And again, this is something that we have our VAs do every single day. And we very specifically saw a huge jump in our backlinks once we started doing this. And, you can go to different backlink checkers and see what they are. And I would see this huge list of all these directories, and it really was actually giving us credit for that. And again, at first I was thinking, a lot of people, have talked about this. I wonder if it's good and how to, maximize it. And it absolutely became a key thing that we do.
Yeah, it's funny because you think, who uses directories anymore to find anything online when you've got search engines? But it definitely has that impact. And we're going for a double benefit. Sometimes we're adding links just because Google will see those links and give us credit for them, and sometimes those links are specifically places that might actually bring in a bunch of traffic. So it is kind of that double boost or double benefit that we're going for. So directories are one of the first great places you can look. One of the next easy places is just social network profiles. There's no lack of social networks, everything from the more general and obvious like Facebook and Twitter down to very, very niche things. So there are, the Facebook-like sites for pet owners, or Facebook-like sites for pet enthusiasts. And so whatever your niche may be, finding social sites in that niche, but then also just general social sites as well across the board, even if they're ones that you don't think a whole lot of people even necessarily use. A lot of times that profile that you can create on the social site gives you an opportunity to, obviously, to enter in your web address and then to have that prominently displayed as a link on your profile. And these social networks are always getting crawled by search engines like Google, and so hence they find those links, and you kind of get credited with having some more links that way. So another simple thing that you can do is just have your virtual assistants on a regular basis create some social profiles with your link in it as well. Another one which takes a little bit more time and effort but can have a huge, huge payoff is to now and again write articles. And these can just be short articles, 400 or 500 words. They might even be taking blog posts you've done and just changing those blog posts around a little bit and then submitting them to article directories. There's a number of directories out there where people can submit content on a particular niche, and those sites exist so that other people who have sites where they need to post lots of content and they don't want to make all the content themselves, they'll come and find those article directories and then pull articles off of these sites. And the only thing, the one thing that they have to agree to is that they'll keep intact the credit at the bottom of the article, the little bio about the person that wrote that article. And so it's kind of a win-win for everyone. The article author yourself is getting credit and a link once that article gets posted on someone else's site, and then that person is getting great content for their site as well. And the fantastic thing about this is if that article over time is getting posted to more and more sites, then it kind of, by making that article once and with that link in your bio once, obviously it's taken more effort, but it can keep paying off for days and weeks and months to come because that article can keep getting posted to other sites, for quite some time. So that's a powerful one to go after as well. So not only, you get the link on the article directory site itself, but then also every time that article is reposted on other sites, you get another link back to your site too. So another extremely powerful link building process. And
kind of an easy way to do those articles is this. First, I want to preface, though, that I don't want any extra writing. So writing articles wasn't an exciting thing at first. But what we did was we were able to hire someone fairly cheap to just listen to our episodes during our main, feature segment and turn our direct content, what we said, into a correctly formatted article. And did that for, we're on, 148 episodes now. So that's like 147 episodes, now 48, that most every one of those could be turned into an article, if not several articles, depending on what's in it. So,
right.
It's just a matter of being creative. If writing is, you don't want to have to add yet article writing above blog post writing as well, that's one way. You could just speak out what you wanted to, talk about, and then have somebody transfer that into the form of an article, then submit it.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Love that. All right, now the last one, number 4 strategy we want to share is also one that's going to take a little more effort, but probably has the biggest payoff of all, not only because it gets a link back to your site, but it also has a high probability of attracting a big influx of traffic to your site. And I know a number of people who have, concertedly done this have, with this strategy alone, built up very large and loyal followings relatively quickly, and that is to do guest posting. So you go and find sites, blogs, other sites that have regular content being posted to them that are within your niche or, well enough related to your niche that the people who frequent that site are likely to be interested in what you have to offer as well. And, it's a good idea first to spend a little time reading that site, maybe commenting, connecting a bit with the person who's in charge of that site, but then creating an article specifically for that site. And, making it really easy for them, saying, hey, noticing, first of all, whether or not they take guest posts or not. They may have a guest posting process where you apply, or it may be just, you just shoot them an email with your, you even have an article all ready to go, attached, formatted and everything, just to make it really easy for them to use if they choose to. And by doing that, you're kind of piggybacking off of whatever success and trust and following that they already have. And by posting your article to their site, they're kind of in the way saying, hey, this is good stuff. This is something I trust. I think you'll like this, to the following. And so that following is instantly transferring some of their trust over to you. And, some good amount of those people are going to read the article. And down at the bottom, again, there'll be some kind of bio saying, something about you and your site with a link over back to you. So not only do you get that link on that blog, but you also then are going to get some traffic immediately through that. And, hopefully if that becomes a well-ranked article on their own site, then over time that can also continue to bring you a good amount of traffic as well. So guest posting on other sites is a great way to go. And, it might not be getting the A-list top tier blogs in your niche at first. You might have to go with some second or third tier, what we might call B or C list, and get some of that under your belt, and then leverage that into some higher opportunities. But if you did one guest post a month over time, undoubtedly you're going to see the effects of that snowball as it goes forward. So that's why strategy number 4 for link building is guest posting. And the final thing to say about all these is you need to do it consistently. We've definitely noticed that if we do link building for a while and then we stop, that you can kind of start, slipping a bit. There's kind of a freshness of the links that's taken into account by Google as well. And so what Google really wants to see is new links in a kind of a nice, natural, organic way building up over time. And so you don't want to, slam the internet with 300 brand new links to your site all at once. You don't want to do it for a couple weeks and then stop. And you don't want it to, just be this, random, a little bit here and a little bit there kind of thing. The best thing is just, a bit every day or every week on a regular basis, so that it looks like this, nice natural buildup of buzz going on. And this will really help along kind of pushing you up that extra, that extra bit in the rankings, and can make all the difference between being on the third page and being on the first page, or being number 10 and being number 3, or even being, from number 3 to number 2 or number 1. And so, over time, it's going to make a huge difference if you can make this just part of your habit, part of your system. It can absolutely eventually be outsourced to other people. A lot of these kinds of things, that's what we do, is we outsource it to our team. But remember that being consistent is important as well. So we want to point out that if you'd like to get started on this right away, we definitely have a module in the Academy that very specifically goes through our link building strategy recommendations of where you should be looking for directories, recommendations of where you should be getting articles posted, and just step by step, or even, it's an easy module you can just hand over to your team and go, hey, listen to this, watch this stuff, and put it into action. So you don't have to think about it. You can just send them into the Academy under your account and have your team start putting that stuff into action as well. So that's one of the best recommendations we can give you is to check out that training if you want more specific, detailed, or even just further ideas beyond the ones that we've talked about in this episode. Then definitely check those out in the Academy. So Sterling, given that it's the new year and a lot of people are, thinking about New Year's resolutions and ways to improve their life, I thought it would be fun for our breakthrough to be about some of the resolutions or things people have made happen. Just going with that theme of the breakthrough and realizing what you're doing, the things that are going well for you right now or that you've done recently, rather this constant like, oh no, I haven't arrived yet. I'm not successful yet. I haven't done enough yet. Always looking forward. I was trying to think, even though it's only been, a couple weeks into the new year when we're recording this, that, so it's like, well, in 2 weeks, what all can happen? I thought, it's really still worth it to go, okay, what have I even done in 2 weeks that I can really feel good about and be proud of? And, one of the things that came to mind is I just kind of off the cuff a little bit. I mean, there was obviously some concerted thought into this, but when January 1st hit, I just thought, you know what? I want to be done with drinking Diet Coke. That's just all this aspartame. There's all this evidence that aspartame is horrible, artificial sweetener, does bad things to your body. And so I want to reduce that. And even though I haven't been 100% perfect, I've only had one 12-ounce drink of Diet Coke, whereas before it was between 12 and 24 ounces a day that I would be, and sometimes on occasion even more than that I would drink. I just loved it. It was refreshing, and I don't know, probably the caffeine and some things like that too. So it's just an example of wanting to stop and go, okay, here's something that's actually a pretty big deal, going from 24 ounces a day to only once in the last couple weeks drinking 12-ounce Diet Coke. So in the spirit of that, I threw that out to Facebook and said, hey, here's something I've done that's felt really good. What's something that you've done that you felt really good about in the last couple of weeks? And there's some great responses here. I just want to go ahead and share on the show, from our Facebook followers here. So let's go ahead and just look at a few of these. Craig Desmarais, and hopefully I'm saying his name correctly, said he stopped hitting the snooze button, literally adding an hour to his morning. And his productivity has been very high lately. So congrats on that. That's, fabulous. If you think about just adding an additional hour or even half hour to your day by watching less TV or sleeping maybe, a little bit less if you don't really need it or whatever the case may be, you can definitely get a lot done with that time. So that's awesome. Dustin Best says the thing he feels good about is he decided to finally join a lifetime membership, the Internet Business Mastery Academy.
Sweet.
And we are glad you decided to join as well. So
welcome.
Keep us welcome. Absolutely. Rebecca Johnson Fuller says that she conquered WordPress. She gained 15 pounds worrying about how to get a good website up, and now she's got it done. She's so relieved. Congratulations on that, Rebecca. Jordan Bench says, congrats, Jay, on my Diet Coke thing. And he says, cutting out that will make a big change. He's cut out TV and video games. I can't say I've done the same, but I absolutely respect that he's made that decision and done that for himself. And that will be a huge, a lot of valuable time you can do other great things with.
Like watch paint dry with all that extra time. No.
Right.
But that's
listen to Internet Business Master.
There you
with
go.
All the extra time. Yeah, video games. That's something we definitely spend a little bit of. I call it renewal time, but maybe that's just an excuse. I don't know. And then finally, Akil Brown says he started the process of creating his own product to help his small business get going online. And definitely creating your own products is the way to create a successful business and make money online rather than always being dependent on, advertising or selling other people's products or things like that. So congrats on taking that step, Akil. How about you, Sterling? Is there anything that you've done in the first couple of weeks of this year that you feel especially good about?
Yeah, definitely making things simpler in my life. What I've talked about in this episode and last episode, the minimalism, the digital, taking everything digital. Those were two major things, which also helped me live in the now a little bit more, which is definitely not my strong suit, as I'm a futurist and I just always am worried about and thinking about and kind of living in the future. Taking the time to kind of go through all my stuff and simplify has, definitely got me down into right now, which is also funny enough what video games do. It's one of my times in the day where you have to be focused on the now. Now, of course, it happens to be in a video game, but I'm trying to take that outside.
Hey, we've both got our pedometers and we get those 10,000 steps a day. So I'd say
we do that too.
Doing pretty good, even if we do play a few video games. Well, awesome. Congrats and thanks to everyone who shared those little breakthroughs on our Facebook site. And, for those of you who are listening, maybe take this moment right now to stop and think about something you've already done so far this year that you feel really good about and revel in that breakthrough. And if you'd like to participate in these conversations, you can find our Facebook page over at facebook.com/Internet Business Mastery.
And remember, there's a live question and answer call each month for coaching members where you can ask us anything about starting and running your internet business. Not a coaching member yet? No problem. Just visit internetbusinessmastery.com/coaching to get the latest information about our coaching program.
It's time for the Internet Business Quick Tip.
All right, so I thought it'd be interesting for the next few episodes to maybe name a few blogs that we're interested in right now. I mean, my blog reading is such an interesting thing. I don't know how it is for you exactly, Sterling. It's actually been a long time since I've really read that many blogs at all. I mean, when it comes to information diet, rather than like subscribing to blogs, I'm much more about, just going and searching and finding specific articles that fit whatever need or question I have at the moment rather than, so there's actually very few people, if anybody, on a regular basis that I follow or subscribe to their feed and see what they are constantly talking about. Because often it leads to distraction or feeling overwhelmed, and all the things we talk about are so important. And that's why information diet and just-in-time learning are ways to kind of feed or to fend off those potential problems. But for whatever reason, every once in a while, I'll go into a phase of looking for inspiration, I guess I would call it. And this is like those phases where I do kind of reverse a little bit it's still very focused, but I do reverse a little bit my information diet habit. And I guess because of the new year, maybe, or just because of some new interests and stuff, I have kind of, gone out and looked for different sources of things to follow just to kind of look at, because when I'm getting interested in something, I like to look at what are the possibilities and what are other different pieces of information. So then I can narrow down and make some specific decisions about, well, this is what I'm going to focus on. And so, for instance, 2-3 months ago when I got a new camera, I did throw about 5 or 6 feeds into Google Reader about DSLR video filmmaking, just because I was like, okay, I kind of want to consume a lot of different stuff, and then I'll weed it down to what is most important to me. And along the lines of just kind of looking for general life inspiration and, lifestyle freedom and kind of different themes like that, or, the minimalist theme that we talked about last time. And last episode, the quick tip was theminimalists.com. I thought we could maybe just continue that theme and for a few episodes in a row, maybe share a few of the blogs that we happen to be, for whatever reason, interested in reading right now or deriving some inspiration from, since that's just kind of something I'm in the phase of looking at the moment. But the one I want to talk about this time, which I know you check out as well, Sterling, is ZenHabits.net. Zen Habits by Leo. I'm going to totally mess up his name. Babauta, I think is how you say his last name or something like that. Babauta, yeah, I think so. And he's got a fantastic story. I mean, if you want an inspiring story about someone, reinventing their life and, finding making money, blogging, doing something they're passionate about, turning that into their lifestyle and their way of making money. It's, he's got a great story, and you can read that on his About page. And he's got a link to my story that you can read. And definitely recommend checking that out. But just in general, it's a very information diet conducive site because it does have a very simple design. There's not a whole lot of clutter at all on the site. It's like a title. It's just simple black and white. It's a title and simple articles, and it's really nice. In fact, I don't even think he allows comments on his site. I think he just tries to do all that on Twitter or something like that. Yeah. And he's very much into the minimalism thing. He has his own minimalist blog as well. But like, for instance, this month, one of the reads I found very interesting is, it caught my attention, obviously, because like every year for the last few years, I think we've done an episode called How to Have the Best Year Ever in, 2011, 2012. And he had a post that said, how to have the best year of your life. I was like, oh, that's the kind of thing we like to say. Let's see what he has to say. And in parentheses, it was without setting a goal. And so that certainly gets your attention. He certainly has this interesting philosophy about goals and the role that they play in our lives. But just as an example of one cool insight that I've gotten off of his site, and definitely when it comes to success or lifestyle or way of being, his site, not every one of his posts is, something I absolutely have to read or do anything with, but definitely regularly enough, something comes up that, interests me, and it gives me some kind of key insight. So that's one I've been following recently. What is it about Zen Habits that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, actually, it was that goal, don't set goals, that really intrigued me as part of, again, it was as I was looking through minimalist stuff, I went over there and, some of the stuff he says, I'm definitely looking to add to my life as well, seeing a little bit more about now, again, it all still has to do with, simplifying your life and that kind of thing. So, it's exciting. I read it each time. I agree. Sometimes, and sometimes I go, that's not for me. But right. It was something so different. I've never looked into any of this kind of stuff, that it's kind of a new, fun thing to look at. And like you, my Google Reader, when I decided to do this, I dumped absolutely everything in it and added like three different blogs, and that's it. And that's all I've been looking. And the moment it's not useful to me, they'll go bye-bye.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I think that's the way to handle something like subscriptions. It can really get out of hand and turn into this thing of like, oh, I'm so behind on my subscriptions. It's like, what? No, why? Like, no, those are only something that should serve you, and that's it, period. Anyway, that's a whole other episode to talk about, but that's cool. We'll have to ask you what some of those other three are that you're, I know that one, the minimalist, which we talked about last time.
Yep.
Zen Habits. So maybe the next few episodes we'll share a few other blogs that we're deriving some inspiration from, but there's the recommendation for today, zenhabits.net.
If you'd like to get dozens of resources such as this one, you can find them in the Internet Business Mastery Academy, along with video tutorials showing you exactly how we use many of them. So to get your risk-free trial membership to the Academy, go to internetbusinessmasteryacademy.com.
You've been listening to the iconoclasts of the 9 to 5 Sterling and Jay. Sterling and Jay invite you to discover one of their most popular video programs ever, the Online Business Freedom Formula. Visit freevideogift.com right now to get instant access to this life-changing video series, pulled directly from the acclaimed Internet Business Mastery Academy membership community. Go now to freevideogift.com. Take control. Make more money. Start an internet business today.